Welcome to Don't Sweat It, the podcast, the place where men drop the mask and speak their truth.
Sweat stands for speak with emotion and trust, because real strength starts with real conversations.
We're diving deep into mental health, addiction, sobriety, and all the emotions we're told to bury.
No sugarcoating, no tough guy act, just raw stories and unfiltered chats.
So lean in, open up, and let's do this together.
Because gentlemen, it's time to sweat it out. Hello.
Hello, mate. It's been a minute.
It's been more than a minute.
It's been a minute. It has.
We're going to, just for everyone that's listening, we're going to do the next one probably in another 2 years' time. So just keep your eyes out for it.
Well, we need enough shit to happen to us in that time.
Yeah.
We can talk on it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have a guest that time as well.
But here we are.
So, what's going on, Giz? What's happening? How you been?
Well, do you know what? I'm not going to make this podcast about me just moaning about work.
We ain't going to moan about stuff.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm going to get some shit off my chest. You're going to get some shit off your chest. And do you know what? This is a good opportunity for us to give people a bit of background on you and me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of people that have listened to our last one will know us, but some people don't.
There's a lot of folklore that's shrouding our friendship.
Yeah, mate. We've had some madnesses. But yeah, look, what have we known each other for? 20 years plus?
Yeah.
We met at college, didn't we?
At college. I actually remember the day I met you as well. I can't remember what we was in that room for, but it was some kind of a test. And I actually remember this because, do you know what I'm going to say? Every time the teacher walked, the tutor.
Professor or whatever.
Professor, we didn't go to fucking university.
Mate, it felt like it.
Every time there was a floorboard next to the door, and every time the tutor walked in, the floorboard made a noise, and it was like a. And then no one else had paid attention to it, but for some reason, me and you were just looking at each other, absolutely pissing ourselves.
I remember that now. I do remember that.
It was like a subtle.
Just, you know, he was going over that on purpose.
It was the way you looked at me. You looked at me. You was like that. As if to say, like, can you hear this? Why is no one else?
It's fine.
And no one else in the room was paying any attention to it. It was just me and you were just twigged, and then obviously from then that was what bonded us.
Do you know? Because I remember. Because you was writing, you was doing music, weren't you? Was you doing music? I remember I was doing a computer program, but we was always in the music block.
Yeah, I was doing.
You was banging to your hip hop back.
Yeah, massively.
I was right drum and bass head, wasn't I?
Massively. I wasn't even doing music like you weren't, but we was just in that music room.
No, I mean, I was doing music, but I was like low level. I used to do pirate radio and that.
Yeah.
Like Fresh FM.
Fresh FM. Fucking Fresh FM, mate.
Yeah, like that was. I was thinking back on this.
What was the Rinse? Do you remember Rinse?
Yeah, that was all grime and that though.
Raw Mission.
Yeah,
not
Rinse.
Not Rinse. Sorry,
I'm
getting muddled up. I'm thinking of ones near us. It wasn't Rinse, obviously. It was Raw Mission. It was called. I remember that one.
There was one in Woolwich Dockyard. I can't think what it was called, but that was quite good.
Do you know I used to be big on that pirate scene? Do you remember T-Dubs, T-double-E?
Yeah.
Or Tony Flame. Shout out Tony. But yeah, he done. What was that track he done? The World of Girls, and he like unravelled like a whole line of like women's name. But I remember that. I'm gonna have to listen to that on the way home.
But yeah, I remember it. I was big on my drum and bass. But I was doing little like venues here and there, little bookings, not actually getting paid for them. It was one of them ones. I remember my biggest thing was doing a Garage Nation. And I was like room 2 or room 3.
Did you do a Garage Nation?
Yeah.
That would have been Terry Turbo, wouldn't it? That would have been Turbo.
Mate, we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah. He might have sold it by then, but
yeah, I remember we like, I did a few of them, mate, for him. But I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to be something. I'm going to be something off the drums and bass. You
were sick at drums, though, mate.
No, I was the tongue twisters, though.
That's
that shit.
That's what the funny thing was. It was like,
it weren't about the lyric content. It was about how quickly you could.
Yeah.
But then big up my brother, Jace. I catted loads of his old lyrics, mate. I was like.
Did you? Did he used to spit, Jace?
He was
no
shit
way.
Hot. He was shit hot as well.
Jace, bruv, what the fuck? I didn't know that at all.
He was good. Right, and this all comes back to when we were kids, right? He got a set of decks, and me and my cousin Dal used to go into his room when he was out and fuck around in his decks and get on the mic. But my brother used to always spit, and he had a few recordings on tapes and that. And I used to have the tapes.
Have you got any of them knocking about?
No, man, I ain't got any of my old tapes knocking about. I ain't got nothing.
Isn't it funny, like, all them years, like, because I wasn't into my drums then. I was just hip hop, and then I went to grime, and then.
But we all loved a bit of grime though.
Like, don't get me, like, we've hit some raves, haven't we, as well? Like, just as ravers, like, but I don't think I actually started writing to drums till about, like, really late on. I was late into it when it had all changed.
I had been off the set. I'd been off Facebook and all that for a while, and I got back on Facebook. And you was smashing drums raves and that, and I was like, I thought that weren't your fingers.
I love it, mate. It's this.
But obviously, I knew we used to go raving.
Yeah,
we used to smash the raves.
Yeah.
And that actually, that kind of goes hand in hand with, and it's another interest that we liked as kids, mate, was the graffiti side of things.
Yeah, massively.
And that goes hand in hand with that.
Massively. Like, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately with graffiti writers and stuff, and this sort of, do you know,
that whole culture.
But the thing is, it never really leaves you. Like,
no.
Doesn't even, like, you're always spotting fresh fib and fucking splats on the tube, and like, it's constantly, once you're in it, aren't you? Like,
on the way here, from where I parked my car to get here, I had to walk through a little, it was, you know, like the things they put around scaffolding, the boarding and that.
Yeah, the holding.
The street level.
Yeah.
Right? Covered in bombs, mate. And I'm looking to see who I can recognise. And I'm sitting there as some guy that's nearly in my 40s, and the same thing. That still doesn't leave you.
It never does. It's just, you've got it, ain't you? Once you do it, like,
I mean, if you was in it as deep as we was, I mean, that was my whole teenage years was all about that stuff. Like, was all about that, and that, I suppose that kind of goes into what we were, the lifestyle we all grew up in and around. Like, we spoke about the last time. Yeah,
like, I don't know if it was our era that was just absolutely crazy, because
hell bent on
just madness. Like, because things are just different now. I find, like, I think we was more like, as kids, and then growing up around, we was in the Sony Walkman era.
The white and orange phone.
Yeah, the happy slap gang. Like, that's the era that we grew up in, and everybody.
That's the first phones, wasn't it? The first camera phones, video phones, and that is happy slap.
And there was a massive jacking culture.
Yeah.
Everyone used to rob everyone. Like,
I was prolific on robbing people's hats. I used to love it. I remember I had a younger, like, he was my younger. I'm not going to put my tag name out there, but he was my younger. Like, he's from Eltham.
Yeah.
Boy used to turn up on my door with like 10 hats.
He shouldn't laugh.
On a jacking spree. And I used to go through them and say, yeah, I want that one, want that one, want that one, want that one. No, you can have that one. Big up, Jake. I remember him.
Madness.
Like, but that was prolific as well.
It wasn't even just phones, mate. It was trainers. It was hats. It was like anything you could get your hands on. It was a different time.
Yeah, to be fair, I was never really. It was always about that, but I'll be honest, I did swipe a hat or two.
Yeah, I did. I've done more than that, to be fair.
Yeah, but
I've done a few things.
Allegedly,
yeah. Allegedly. But like, it was just part of the. Again, that was the culture that we grew up in. It was academic tracksuits with Looney Tunes socks. Yeah. With your tracksuits tucked into the socks.
Averex jackets.
I never could afford an Averex jacket.
Do you know what? It's really strange. I found one, like, my Averex jacket. I put it on eBay, mate. I sold it.
How much?
Enough. They're big. They're big now.
Yeah.
I was chatting to Andreas.
You're mad selling that. I would have kept. I couldn't have sold that.
Mate,
but then when are you gonna? Would you wear it again?
Never.
You could have wore it here today.
It sat in.
It just sat there with your Averex on.
Mate, it sat there in a suitcase for 20 years nearly, and I was like, this coat needs to be worn by someone. Needs to be loved by someone.
Yeah, and it will be like, because they've.
Somebody's going to restore it, mate, because it sat in a suitcase for 20 years.
Did you say you shouted to Andreas for that?
Andreas for it.
Andreas, wavy garms. Shout out you lot.
You're going to have you on soon.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, we digress. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we have.
And we was just talking about the graffiti, the raving scene. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? You and I, from younger days, mate, have been to many a rave and I'm not ashamed to talk about it, but also...
We absolutely battered it, didn't we? Let's be honest.
I'm gonna say something and see if you remember it. Cecil the Meerkat, Yellow Hat Tom.
He didn't know what he was on. 40 bot pills, but he was wrong. Cecil the Meerkat, Yellow Hat Tom. Yeah, don't listen. I think back on that. I think
what the fuck were we doing?
I don't know.
That's up there, mate. That's up there. That's up there.
We used to do the Heidies as well in the rave.
Yeah.
Like everyone, people that know us will know what a Heidi was, and basically this is going to make no sense. Basically, all a Heidi was
that
doing that.
And you might see some old Facebook photos of us on Facebook.
And then,
exactly
but the thing is, what would happen is you'd get a photo of you doing that, and then everybody would rate your Heidi out of a percentage. So it'd be like, that's a 25% Heidi you've just done. And then it was
your Heidi game.
Yeah, it was fucking.
All right, what about this? Shut up and drink your salt.
I just think of Stillwell. Our good friend Stillwell. I just think of him. Shout out Mike.
Big up Stillwell.
But yeah, man, we absolutely battered it. And I'll be honest, mate, like as well, like them, I look at them like they were the good times.
I remember them days fondly, but because they were such a fond memory for me, I think at the time we realised how much fun we were having, and you try to keep that going.
You'll
but
never
sooner
get
or
them
later,
days
that party ends, mate, and that your brain, your thoughts start to catch up with you. I remember after a time, like I'd go raving and I'd smash it. I'd take pills, take MDMA, but for a week.
Why did you whisper that then? I've take pills.
Because I feel like it's something I need to hide.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about.
You're talking about it openly.
It's all part of what makes me and my background, my history and stuff. But I used to have a come down that lasted a week and a half, and that included severe depression, mate.
Yeah, and the rest.
There was nothing, and it's all the chemical imbalance in your brain that's come from no sleep, partying like a lunatic, and just absolutely abusing yourself with Class A drugs.
Yeah, and the lack of sleep as well is like. I know we're sitting here and we're saying, oh, it was fun and all this stuff and that, but there's a lot of like it's got to answer. It's a lot to answer for, man. A lot to answer massively, like to the point where I've got friends that have the party's never really ended for them, and the lack of sleep has just drove them up the wall. And I know there's people I know now that have been like sectioned because of it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not fun and games.
We are fortunate in the sense that you and I were able to draw a line on it and move forward. I mean, look, both of us now, we're far cry from what we were 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
20, well, not 20 years ago, because we weren't raving as much, but it was in our early 20s when we were smashing it. Like that.
Yeah.
And that is, for a lot of people, it's that age group. Some people are fortunate enough to put it behind them, but that is not sustainable long term and never has been.
No.
But people do, you know, nowadays it's still the culture.
Yeah, I didn't stop. Like it carried on through my during the day. It come like I was at work. I was still doing it. I'll openly admit it because I've been in recovery, so I'm used to talking about this kind of thing. I don't care really. Like I think people should hear it. Like I was bad for it. It was like every day at one point, or I'd start on a Friday and then I'd stop on like a Tuesday. But then it got to the point when you hear people talking about psychosis, this is a real thing, because I remember walking down the street and I remember actually hearing voices in my head about it. Like I've got a track about it on SoundCloud called Monsters, and I listen to it now and I think to myself, fucking hell, what a dark place I was in.
Mate, I know that.
Mad. Like, but that's again, like, that's what it is.
But you was always unreal wordsmith, mate. So any story you would tell in any of your tracks was fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, I just like, I was in a very different headspace when I recorded that to what I am now.
Sometimes that raw emotion and those demons, they help you produce stuff like that.
Monsters louder. That one, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know what, right? At the end of the day, you just said that you'd stop on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Stop taking it, but your week would be fucked then.
Yeah, and then
you weren't carrying on.
And then I'd go to work and it'd be like, oh, the brickie serves up. I'll go and get it off the brickie at lunchtime.
Yeah,
and the next thing,
now.
Yeah, just because I think, oh, mate, I remember going to work in the morning about, like, during rush hour, you know, like when there's people sitting next to you on the train and I'm just like this, like thinking, like that's
Nobody's noticing it as well. But
obviously, you could probably fucking hell, I'd notice it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So why was I even thinking that was a good idea? I ain't even had my Cocoa Pops yet. Madness, mate.
Cocaine pops.
But that's where it takes you. That's where it took me.
But that was what it was, mate. The thing is, you use one to get over the other. Like the amount of times, how many times would you see people, right now, like taking one drug to come down from another.
Yep.
Coming down off the MDMA, they take ketamine to calm them down.
Yeah.
Or they want to keep the party going, so they buy a gram of coke and they're
Yeah.
keeping on. But it's the allure of that, like, oh, something else is going to give me a different sort of high. And that's the shameful thing about it, is people feel dirty doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, we spent many nights doing after parties at people's houses.
That was the real night, wasn't it?
That was
like it was like you go raving and then you go to an after party, which just leads you into the next day, and then you'd end up at someone's house.
And you wouldn't leave there for another day. You'd spend 3 days out, not washing, bollocks smelling like vinegar.
Yeah. Oh, madness, mate.
Yes. But then again, that would feed to those long-term lows that you're getting. It's just short-term highs followed by the long-term lows, and feeling shit about it all week. Just by the time the weekends come around, you're starting to feel a little bit normal again. You do it all again because that's all you know at the time. That's all you know. But if there isn't enough help for people out there, in the sense that you've got to know what that's going to do to you long term.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, a lot of long-term abuse deals in massively.
Well, it's not. I can only talk firsthand from my own experience, because that's the only advice that I can give someone. So when I think about what it's done to me, it's actually cooked my brain, like to the point like where I'm constantly stumbling my words, and it's not even that. It's the things that I did when I was drunk as well. Like I done some shameful things when I was drunk, and they're the things that stay with you mentally. Like that's it. You can't get rid of it.
Situations you find yourself in when you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs or something like that. Like you've ultimately just hit on something, and you put yourself into some situation. You've done some things you're not proud of. You don't have to explain what they are, but you know what they are. You've got to live with that.
Yeah, and there's things that will just mentally stay with you. Like there's nothing that you can try, and you can try and forgive yourself for things that have happened, or you can try and talk about it and whatnot. But there will be situations that have caused massive internal trauma, and there's nothing that you can do. Like I'll be honest with you, there was an incident. When I was younger, something happened on a train, and I didn't really give it a second thought. And there was a time I was with my partner, and we was going through the train station, and this train went past me, and it was the same line as the train where the incident had happened. And it just triggered something in me, and I don't know what happened, but I had tears in my eyes. She was trying to calm me down, and I couldn't fully understand what the reason was. And now I look at it now, it's just a form of PTSD, mate. Like that's what it is, and it's certain things that they can't leave you, like, but they do get better in time. But if I'd known what I know now, then as what you was just saying about people don't know the long-term effects and stuff now, I wouldn't have gone near it with a barge pole. But at the same time, I wouldn't have changed it neither.
No, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it's helped craft the individual that you are today.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need those experiences to help you realise or to help you become the person you are. Some people live a very sheltered life, right? Because of that, they've got no real life experience. And by life experience, I mean they haven't found themselves in sticky situations. They haven't put themselves in they haven't found themselves in somewhere where they've had to, let's be honest, you've had to fight your way out of situations because you put yourself in that situation whilst drunk or something.
Because you've put yourself there.
Yeah, right? But that is, I've been in a situation like that. I'm not going to talk too much about things, but I've been in a situation where I've thought back on it and I've replayed every single factor and gone, I brought that on myself.
Yeah.
That was a dickhead move on my part, and all that's done is created all of this off the back of it. I'm never going to do that again. And that is a massive part of self-growth.
Yeah, it is. It's
stuff like that. So sometimes you need these experiences in order to create the better person you are. Like, that's just what's the word? Fundamental fundamental personal, human personal growth.
Yeah, because it is. Because if
you talk about stumbling your words, listen to me. Mate.
But if you don't go through these things that happen to you, you're never going to know what to do in a situation when it does come as well. So you can sit there and you can sit there in your little bubble, like the majority of some people do, and it's a blissful life that haven't actually been through the trenches or haven't actually been in a situation where they've had to fight or flight or any of these kind of situations. So they'll live a sheltered life, as you say, and they'll be happy to live that life. Do you know what I mean? But then with the experience that comes with it, the advice comes, and then you can start talking to people about stuff.
Well, we had a situation before that you and I were put in many moons ago. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but that changed the dynamic of that group setting we were in.
Yeah, it did, massively.
You know what I'm going to, know what I'm talking about, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, everything changed from that point, and that was me just going after you to back it.
Yeah.
Because of something was going to happen. And I was just like, no, my pal's about to get himself. He's like, I'm going to go back this. And from that point on, everything went.
Yeah, it did. That was like the moment of time that everything stopped. Everything changed.
Because of that was the sesh house and that. Like, that was where we all used to get in, and that all stopped.
Yeah.
And that all stopped. And from that point, people kind of went their own ways and did their own things.
It's like it had to come to an end at some point.
And do you know what? That was a blessing in disguise. And thank God, right? Thank God that nothing came from that. You know what I'm going to talk about?
Could have fucking done, no,
mate,
easily.
But anyway, you know, you and I both know what we're talking about, and I'm not going to say anything else. But realistically, that was for me. That was a massive turning point.
Yeah.
Like I say, that was exactly one of them situations. I'm thinking back on everything and going, this happened, that happened. If I hadn't done that, like now I've got to live with these consequences.
Yeah, that stays with me. That one sometimes.
Yeah.
That does. But this is what this podcast is all about. It's just being brutally honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, to the extent where we can just talk about this kind of thing, and actually get this shit off your chest. And this is what it does feel good. And this is what I'm trying to get everyone who's listening at home now. This is what I'm trying to express and get my point across. It's all right to talk about these things. You can talk about these things. You can talk about if you're having a shit day at work and your missus is driving you up the wall. Like, you're allowed to talk about this sort of thing. It's when you bottle it all up, that's when people explode, and this is what we're trying to do at the minute, aren't we?
But it's also that belief, right, as a man, you think nobody gives a shit, right? Because realistically, a lot of the time, if I'm having a shitter of a day or something, it's easy to sit there and think, oh, no one gives a shit. No one cares, right? But actually, there's probably at least one person that will care, and that's your missus.
Yeah.
Or your mother. Yeah. Or somebody. You have somebody to talk to. Having that belief of, well, why am I going to talk about it? Because no one gives a shit. That continues that perpetual cycle of bottling it up. And you turn to potential coping mechanisms and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's when you start looking for that temporary dopamine, and that's when it all comes.
And like to cast some, like this, you know, to cast a bit of light on what the last years looked like for me. I've had a shitter, mate. Since our last podcast, I've been through the trenches. You know, because I've spoken to you a little bit. I've spoken to you about things, you know, and I'm going to be honest here because of, you know, it's one of them things that I feel, again, getting it off your chest kind of helps. And not a lot of people have spoken to about it. I've spoken to a few people close to me. But shortly, like, you know, we've been through it. Not me and my wife.
Yeah.
Like, with us, but we've been through it together. And in times like that, I don't know who I've had to turn to, and I've spoken with my mum as a shoulder to cry on, you know, metaphorically, sort of thing. But, like, we got a little boy, he's 2, in a couple of weeks, but we had another baby coming on the way, and we experienced a miscarriage. My wife miscarried, and it was a very traumatic experience, and it massively hurt me. It put me in a dark place. It's a place that I never knew existed. Right, I never knew I could feel this much anguish over something. Right, and I've lost my best friend. I lost my best friend in 2021, and I experienced a level of anguish with that. But this was a completely different feeling, and I was in a dark place. But all those old coping mechanisms that I would have reverted to, they weren't there. I'm so proud of myself that I didn't go down that route. But there's
because it's so easy to go down that route in a situation like that.
But like, I look at my little boy, and I know that, like, I look at my wife, and she's going through the same thing at the same time. And how selfish of it would it have been for me to just let go and become that person for a couple of weeks because it's going to help me deal with my pain. You know, it wouldn't have. But that was, you know, absolutely overjoyed to say. You know, we fell pregnant again. My wife, she's 7 months pregnant now. We've got another one on the way. Another little boy. Number 2.
Another one to the Fogarty clan.
Yeah, that'll be grandson number 9 for my parents. Another boy, mate. Listen, we only produce boys. But you know what? Like, just talking about it, like, that's one of the reasons why I went off the radar, because I didn't want to talk to no fucker. And I know that I kind of let you know what was happening just because of you were checking in with me, going, like, how's things and that. Yeah. But off the back of that, the place it put me in, you know, my work situation, it took a massive toll on that. You know, I had to change my work situation. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but they were, you know, that was another thing that really happened. That fucked
it didn't help the situation, did it?
But you know what? I've grown as a person because of that. And this is to talk about this now, getting that off my chest, because that's sat with me for a long time. Only people very close to me have known. Now I've just spread it out to the wide world. Yeah. But you know, it feels good to get it off my chest. Well, but that's one of them things.
I'm proud of you, mate, for talking about that, because it's not an easy subject to talk about. No, and you've not only done it, you've done it with 3 cameras in your face and a mic. So, like, well done for getting it out there, man. Honestly, it's not, and a lot of people will relate to that, and there's people listening that have lost their lost their children, and it's such a fucking horrible thing to go through. Mate, but we're here and we're talking about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but you know what? That's exactly that, because I know full well we're not the only ones that have experienced that. Yeah, it's quite common. But what it was with us is it's more common. They say it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 5, but after a healthy pregnancy, it's 1 in 20. Right. So I was sitting there going, why am I in that unlucky 5%? Yeah. Why are we in that unlucky 5%? What, you know, but you can't think about it like that. I had to switch my thinking and said, like, that was nature. That, you know, this baby weren't meant to be part of this world. You know, we've got an angel baby there now, but at the end of the day, it's one of them situations where we're not alone. People deal with that day in, day out. Yeah. And I also had to sit there and go, pull up your socks and fucking get on with it. Yeah. And this is a bit of that toxic, what people call toxic masculinity. Yeah. Pick up your socks and get on
a man.
And be a man.
Be a man.
Yeah. You ain't fucking being a man right now. You need to pull up your socks and move forward. Yeah. Right? In a sense, that did help me. That helped me just get my shit together in a time when I was fit, and we were able to be there for each other, my wife and I. And it was a difficult situation for both of us. I know it hurt her. And
it'll only make you both stronger as a couple as well.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, we're like, I God bless the ones closest to me that were there as support, because without them, I would have been in a different. It would have been a different situation, I think. You know, and in times like that, this is what really got to me, was I felt like I didn't have a friend there. I know you was checking in with me and I was kind of burdening you with a little bit of it, but I got like a circle of mates, yeah, that haven't really been this year, like last year, should we say. No one's really, like, I don't know what's happened, the dynamics changed for some reason, but, you know, it is what it is, people move, but it occurred to me, and it felt, and I don't hold this against anyone for any reason whatsoever, because everyone's got their own shit going on, and I don't know what's going on with them. But no, it felt like no one checked in with me, but then I weren't checking in with anyone else either. So I can't expect that. But I feel like it would have been a big weight off my shoulders if someone had messaged me and gone, oh, how's things? Because I would have told them, I would have got that off. But because I didn't get that message, or nobody reached out, I didn't want to reach out to somebody with a problem. Yeah. And I didn't want to instigate it and go, oh, how's things your end? And then when they reciprocate the question, start unloading onto them. Yeah. Like, so it just felt like, and in my head, because I'm in that dark place and that woe is me and the world's against me and everything's going wrong, I felt like I didn't have my circle there. I didn't have a mate to talk to. And at the same time, though, I was also looking back and I'm like, I'm getting messages that weren't even getting, like, I was looking back on like a message that I'd sent a couple of weeks ago that hadn't been responded to. And I was like, well, you know, when you get a little bit in your head about it.
Yeah.
But then on socials, I'm seeing they're all out celebrating together and stuff like that, doing, well, not celebrating, but they're like summer festivals and that together. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not part of that friendship group anymore. And that was part of like why I felt like going back to those coping mechanisms and that. And I know I've just spoken for about 10 minutes straight.
But what you've got to remember is as well, with the socials as well, like it's that people are only going to post the good bits anyway.
No, 100%. But what I'm seeing was, oh shit, they're out of that day festival. I didn't even get an invite.
All out, are you? All of you?
That's it. That's what I was like.
Enjoying yourself without me.
That's it, mate. I was like, fucking, I could have really done with that.
Yeah.
You know, but
at the same time,
nobody knows. Nobody knows what I've got going on. I don't know what they've got going on. But it helped feed that feeling, and I don't hold it against anyone, right? We are all grown men. We all got our own families. We've all got our own shit going on, and I appreciate that. But at that time, I didn't see it like that. I was in a fucking terrible place and it was a place that after having my son, I never thought I'd find that level of despair in my life because I had something to live for.
Not only that, Russ, you'd be there for the wrong reasons as well. Like you wouldn't.
I'd probably be on the sesh, mate. I would have gone
massively
on the sesh
because you're just trying to like batter
Block it
yourself.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
like because you think you're there for a good time, but you're not. That's just reminded me as well, like about something that we've been working on behind the scenes at the minute. We've actually got a WhatsApp group at the minute, and
you've done bits with that, mate. That is so good. Like, the amount of people that are in that.
Yeah, like
everyone's leaning on each other.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's people in there from all walks of life that are unloading stuff on a daily basis. What we're trying to do at the minute now, I think we're just going to call it the buddy system. Basically, if somebody's struggling or somebody's going through something, or like, for instance, just say, for instance, you could be, I don't want to drink anymore. When we're going to touch down on the sobriety thing, and you could be having a night out. Basically, you say, I'm struggling, lads, and then you get allocated a buddy, someone who's willing to keep their eye out for you, and then that person will just check in on you all night to say you're getting on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes that one little person just to say, you're right, mate. Do you know what I mean? But
no, someone's thinking of you.
Yeah, and that's all it. Sometimes that is all it is. But so if anyone wants to be a part of this WhatsApp group, we've got a lot going on with it at the minute. We've also got, we're going to do the hiking soon, aren't we, as well?
Yeah.
James May from Miles for Minds.
Not Top Gear, James May.
Yeah, not that James May. James May from Miles for Minds, sorry. He organises these amazing trips, and it's all for a good cause. So we're going to be collabing with him this year at some point. We're also going to be doing a once a month thing we're going to be doing, hopefully with a space where we can all meet up and just chill, chat bollocks for an hour. So that's
just going to be like an icebreaker sort of thing.
Yeah. So
you don't have to come down, but if you happen to be available 1 month, you can get to know the people because it puts a face to the name on WhatsApp.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to be a part of this group, and it's more of a community really than a group. Really, really good bunch of lads. As we say all the time, venting is preventing. So it's just nice to have it. So if anyone wants to be a part of that, just shout us on the socials, on the Instagram, sweat_gang, and me and Ross will put you in there and we'll say hello.
Did you just call me Ross?
Ross?
Don't Ross me off.
Don't Ross me off, mate.
Nah. Yeah, mate, we'll do that. But it's been, you know what? How's the last year been for you, Giz? Like, because I've just sat there and spent probably 10 minutes venting about a chunk of that year that fucking bothered, that you know, how's it been for you?
It's been a bit of a weird one, mate, to be fair. I'm quite open and honest about it. I've had a bit of a journey myself with obviously being sober, and I'll be honest with you, it's fucking the best thing I've ever done, but also it's unravelled a whole load of other problems
that you didn't know.
That I didn't know that I had. We spoke about this last time, but yeah, and I've been on a bit of a medical adventure, really. It got to the point where I had to go to the doctors because no fucking form of meditation and no form of exercise was doing what I needed it to do. And it was a bit deep-setted in that, so I've I had to go to the doctors. I've had a few different courses of medication. Some of them sent me a bit fucking loopy.
Yeah, I remember I had a few messages from you and you was a bit...
But I'm in a better space now. A much better space now, and it's not even just to do with the medication that they gave me. It's to do with just being more open about stuff and practice what you preach, really. And I just feel a lot better. I've took my foot off the gas with the music as well this year, because it was...
This is going to be your...
Yeah, because it was... Listen, I fucking love drum and bass. I don't care who... Like, and by the way, it's Skibbity's birthday today.
Yeah.
So...
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to the king.
To the absolute
goat, mate. So, yeah, it was... I've took my foot off the gas, but I still love it. But it's just... It was consuming me to the point where I couldn't give anything any more energy, because I was just giving every bit of me towards it.
Well, like I spoke to you a few times. I'm staying in a hotel. I'm doing a booking here, and now I'm staying in a hotel there, and then I'm getting up at 5 and going to work. I'm like, bruv, you commit to this.
Yeah,
you commit to this. Fair play, but I'm hoping you commit to this.
Yeah, well, this is,
and I'm sure you will.
This is what I've kind of switched my attitude up now. Like, so I'm still going to release music, and I'm going to do the bookings that I've agreed to do, and I'll probably still do more after that. But I'm just not going to let it consume me as much as it did. The whole scene's gone in a different direction now as well, which is, I'm not against...
It does a shift every few years.
I'm not against it, but it's just not a bit of me. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm just going to do what I do and what people like me to do. But yeah, so now this is getting my full attention. So get yourself fucking ready, Russ.
Drum and bass has also kind of paved a bit of a platform for you to be able to push this out there, because of, you know,
it's led to this
hand in hand. Lot of that, mate.
It's led to this. Yeah. And this is what a lot of people that we talk to are in the scene, and there's a lot of big DJs and MCs that I talk to on a regular basis that go through a lot of their own problems, because a lot of it is drugs, and it's late nights, and it does creep up on you, man. And there's a lot of insomnia about it as well, and where
it's because of people sit on ceiling patrol after taking two.
Yeah, and obviously if your only income is doing bookings every weekend, which is very profitable for some, your fucking sleep pattern is going to be all over the place, and trying to function as a normal person during the week.
Yeah.
It takes a lot, and so but this is what we're gonna have a few people down this year for this, and we're gonna speak about this as well.
And I remember, like, just you talking about that, shifting the sleep pattern up and shit. Obviously, during COVID, I was made redundant. Right? I took a job at Ocado as an engineer, doing shift pattern. It was nights, days. I started looking into what effect that has on a person, yeah, and switching up your body clock like once a week, once every 2 weeks, sort of thing. The hormonal effect it has, right? Do you know people that do that sort of stuff, the shift work, and it's no different than doing bookings and shit all night, and then trying to shift back to day pattern during there's certain levels. There's certain increased chances of certain cancers and things like that.
Really?
Yeah. You should do a bit of research. I'll send you it. But I started looking at it because I was like, why is it such a hard thing to do?
Yeah.
And it's your hormone balance is right off. Because of, as a human, yeah, you aren't meant to be awake during night hours, right? No. You're not. And the deep, and I'm talking ancestral feelings in us, right, come out like when you're awake at 3 a.m, right, your brain doesn't know it's because I'm doing a booking, or it's because I'm at work. You know that because you're doing it autonomously. But your brain, we're wired to sleep during night hours. So your brain thinks that there's a danger.
Yeah.
The reason you're awake, there's a danger. You are on a bit of an alert. And it fucks up your hormones and shit like that. And I read into it quite a bit because I couldn't figure out why I was waking up with headaches and shit.
Yeah.
And why, like, I weren't functioning right. Because I do 2 weeks of days, 2 weeks of nights, and they were 12-hour shifts. So I would go 7 till 7 days and then shift over after 2 weeks and do 7 till 7 nights.
So it's the irregularity of it as well. It's like, because you're not in a routine.
Your body gets onto a routine,
and then bang, it changes.
Yeah. It fucked me up. But you're doing it on a week as well. If you're doing bookings all over a weekend, and then during the week you're trying to get back on day mode
on a Thursday as well, because we used to do a lot in Canterbury on a Thursday. for a few different promoters, and that was always like it was like a uni thing, it was freshers night on a Thursday. So I'd go to work on a Wednesday, like my day job, and then I'd go from there to Canterbury, and then I'd do the booking, and then I'd probably be on at 2 a.m. or something, and then I'll go back to the hotel at this is all sober as well, like this is it was easier when I was doing the drugs.
Because you ain't even got a little helping hand to
so I was doing, but what I did find doing these bookings sober, this is what I did find, I found that I could do a lot more than what I did when I was absolutely battering it, because I could, like, I might be tired, but that was it. Like, there was no, like, I didn't feel like shit. I was just a bit tired. But yeah, I'd go to work, I'd do a booking during the week, and then I'd sleep for about an hour, and then I'd go into London and then do another day's work, and then I'd do it on the weekend as well. And like, listen, you've got to be in it to win it 100%. And I did. There's a lot of stories, man, I could talk about. There's some funny shit that happened, and it was I loved it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, mentally, it did start taking its toll on me a little bit. I can't lie.
It will. You're only human, mate. You're not a robot. You can only do that for a certain amount of time. And to be honest, if you pump a lot more of your focus into this, at least you've only got to give up an afternoon once a month or something. The rest of the time, we can be active on the socials and the group. But I mean, that just touching on that WhatsApp group, done an excellent job on getting that out there, mate. That's such a good platform for people. Like, that's grown. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are in it now, but there's a lot of people.
But yeah, fair play. Because we had that discussion pre-Christmas, and you was like, look, we'll pick this back up in January. And I got to be honest, I was like, I think I'd even said to you, Giz, you're talking shit. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fair play to you. You kept things going, because I weren't really with it. I've been getting my head down with work and that, and that's been my focus. I'm also trying to grow my business on the side, so that's been my focus pre-Christmas. It's still going to be my focus this year, but this is going to also take a big precedence. I mean, I know that I've got another kid on the way now as well. So they say 1 is 1, and 2 is 20. I'm about to experience that. We'll see. But yeah, you never know, mate. You never know. Like what. Hopefully, number 2 is pretty easy, and I can keep things. But I'm gonna be spinning many plates this year as well. But this is going to be a big focus for me. Yeah. And I think you and I have got a good thing going on with this. I hope so. And I really hope that we can help people. I really hope that just us talking about this sort of stuff, and we're going to have guests on. It just so happens that we didn't have one on for this one, but...
Do you know what? I've got to say this.
Sorry.
So I think our voices don't complement each other. This is a random thought I've just had in my head.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm quite like, ugh, and you're quite like snippy. Do you know what I mean?
Are you mugging me off?
No, but like, you're like quite pointy with your words.
Mate, I work in a professional setting. I have to be eloquently spoken.
But do you think the listeners are going to be listening to this and thinking, God, their voices don't complement each other?
Nah.
You don't?
Nah.
I hope not, anyway.
Mate, we're not fucking singing a duet here. We're just chatting.
Yeah, I don't know why that just came into my head, mate. I just thought it was something that needed to be said.
Give me a complex.
You're going to be working on your pointy vocal.
Nah, mate. Not you sounding like a fucking shovel straight to the gravel floor, you cunt.
Mate, I sound like it's mad. They call me brick dust. It sounds like I've been eating brick dust.
It's like gravel voice. But do you know what, mate? Listen, I don't think that was even a thought that came into my head. That's a weird thought, mate. You smoke a joint before you came on this podcast? No. That's one of those weird thoughts.
I was just in my head then. I was thinking, I've got a very gravelly sounding voice. And I was thinking...
I think that makes you... If we were both talking the same, mate, it'd be too much.
Yeah, it'd be like...
Or if we was both talking like me, it'd be too much. I think you need that to...
No, but I think it'd sound all right. If it was both of us talking with like your voice, it'd be all right. I think if it was mine, it would just sound like...
I think you're overthinking that sort of thing.
What do you lot reckon?
Yeah.
What do you reckon about our voices?
Mate, I don't even know what to say with that one. I don't even know what to say. Do you know what? You do you, I do.
Yeah, that's it.
Together, we'll bounce off each other, mate. We get it. What, do you want me to be a little bit more...
No, I'm not. No, I'm never ever saying change your voice.
From the manner...
No,
we are from the fucking manor.
You've got a professionalism. You've got a professionalism about your voice.
Yeah, because I have to be on the phone all the time at work and that.
I'm glad you're here. To be fair, because you're the one holding it together.
Nah, mate, not at all.
Yeah.
This is a two-way street, Giz. This is a two-way street, mate.
Yeah, but you've got the notes up and you're fucking on point, mate.
Got the mouse here.
Yeah.
That's why my hand's been behind it. People
Yeah.
probably thinking I've...
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm lucky to have him.
But no, mate, we complement each other. It's not that way. Like you need the what's the word? You need the fucking the ice cream and the chocolate sauce.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? But that's part of our friendship because we've always been like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It was always like, when people knew that we was doing a podcast together as well,
Yeah,
people was just like, oh, I knew it'd be you, so...
Like, but people were hyped for that as well. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you still be... Like, we do bounce off each other, mate. It's always been like that. And let's be honest, right, that's what makes us good friends, because if we... Pre-podcast, we might not have seen each other. You came to my wedding, and I hadn't seen you for a year and a half, and then we're talking about the podcast, like, out of nowhere. And when I see you... And we met for the Guinness Zero.
Yeah, yeah.
We met for the Guinness Zero. You know, it was like nothing. It was like we hadn't seen each other for a day. That was
Yeah,
it.
it's
you
mad,
know, and that's what friendship is, mate. So don't worry, we complement each other in this. But like, do you know what? Right, that's why. This is what's good about you and me here. Is we're both driving towards the same thing. We do completely different careers. We've got completely different parts of life. Like, I'm married. I've got a young family. Charlie is what?
9. Yeah,
I was going to say 10. Yeah.
10,
So Charlie is 10, and you've been with your missus for a couple of years, like them side of things. But we've got a communal interest in this.
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with somebody that or being around somebody that has got that, you help keep each other. Like the conversations that we've had about this every time, like, you know, it gets me excited. It gets me excited about it.
Does.
Because I know that I'm talking to somebody that has got a shared interest in it, that wants the same vision for it and shit. And that vision solely comes down to being able to help people, right? Somebody I know just, what was it, November last year?
Yeah.
You know, committed suicide, and it made me think. It made me think like these sort of things are more needed than ever. And there's a couple, you know, people that do similar things to us, and they've started podcasts and shit to talk about it.
Yeah, because we're not fucking experts.
No,
We're not like trained in the field.
we don't have to be.
But
We've got life experience.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to impart. That's why we have people like on our first one. We have Rob on.
Yeah.
Because he does know that shit. You and I are just a couple of cunts that fucking took the piss out of their bodies in their late life, and they're paying for it now. But have got those experiences.
Yeah.
And speak on those experiences. Therefore, makes us somewhat credible.
Yeah, because the angle that we're coming at as well. I just want more people to like. I just want the lads to open up, mate. That's what it all comes down to.
Because people don't, and it's seen as a taboo to do that. It's seen as a taboo to be able to show some kind of, you know, feeling towards something. And let's be honest, like, Joe, I see something really interesting. Couple of days ago, it was a reel like on Facebook as I was scrolling, and it made a good point. He said, he was like, guys don't need therapy. Yeah, they don't need therapy. They're putting everything on the line every day, right? And they're going through hell every day for this, right? The guy that's doing that, he doesn't need therapy. What he needs is appreciation. If he's coming home to his missus and his kids, he wants appreciation and recognition that they know that he's doing it for them. And that man will keep doing that until the day he dies, as long as he knows that it's being recognised. And sometimes that's all you need. But sometimes that recognition will come from like the group chat, right? And putting shit out there. I've had a really shit day because of this. And somebody just going, yeah. I get you. I understand.
It's helped me out massively. Like, there's no shame in. I've put everything in that group chat, just like because I thought, you know what, I'm going to show people that there's no point.
Lead from the front.
Yeah, that's it. So I've done that, and it's helped me out massively. And what you were just saying there about the appreciation and stuff as well, like. I've always said this. I'm a dog. I'm a loyal dog.
Yeah.
But I just need my belly scratched every now and then, and that goes a long way. Like in terms of, I don't know if it's a childhood thing that we as we've got older, it's like attachment, or so I don't know if it's that, or I don't know what it, or if it's just as men we just want that appreciation. Do you know what I mean? Like to say, yeah, I have done this, I have done that, and we're in a society nowadays where that's sort of fading out in a way because women are sort of equal.
Women are out there grafting as well.
Yeah. So
You know,
they're like, well, why have a lot of women will look at it like, well, I've got a child. Why do I need to feed another one? That's the mentality that some of these women have got now.
But you don't. But that's the thing. That's a poisonous. That's a toxic mentality because actually it's more like you do things too. Like in my household, right? I cook for my wife. Mm-hmm. She cook for me. It depends who's available to do it, right? I appreciate when she cooks. She appreciate when I cook, especially after we've both done a day's work, right? But never once has she made me feel like it was a chore to do that, or made me feel like, I'm too dependent on her or something. And that's the thing, is that's that balance you need.
Yeah.
But you're right. A lot of people look, I've been out working all day as well. Why should I have to come home and cook you a meal or do something?
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but that's the society we live in. You need two incomes to run a household.
Yeah.
Unless you're fortunate enough to earn well enough that you have the one income. But in that case, a lot of them times the women are kept women anyway, and they're not homemakers.
No.
They're out there spending that money, doing what they're doing, and a lot of the time they'll leave the guy because he's working too much. And unfortunately, that's another sad situation that men find themselves in. That they work so bloody hard, they do this, and then all of a sudden, the missus wants to leave them. They got to give half of everything to them. That's a society we live in. Luckily, you and I'd say we've both partnered up with people that are pretty
active,
and they're supportive. And, they're. I would never have set up a life with somebody that I couldn't feel like I'd be able to rely on in times when it mattered most.
It's things. Everything happens. Like everything, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And when I was with my son's mum, I wasn't the person who I am now.
No,
I wasn't the person. I was wild, mate. But that's who she
made you.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that's who she got with.
Yeah, well, all right,
she knew what.
But yeah, but that was who you was.
Yeah,
at the time.
and that's just, and then things happened.
When you get sober though, would that have, that would never have been?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not here to say, but yeah, I wasn't a very nice man back then, and it took a lot of growing up. And the person I'm with now, she's taught me a lot of stuff as well, to be fair. Respect is due, do you know what I mean? In that she's done a lot for me, and she's put up with a lot as well, to be honest with you.
Right. Fair play, mate. Do you know what? Like, I think you both, though, it's a two-way street because of, I don't know anything because it's not something that, but I'm sure, just like my missus, right, she's put up a lot with me. I know I'm a difficult person to be, especially sober. I was probably much easier when I was a bit of a wally, right? But you right there? Fucking hell, son. But
sorry about that, Kai.
Kai's the sound engineer.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, wasn't it?
It's fucking hell, mate.
Like,
threw me off what I thought.
Who's the geezer that used to go, drink? What's his
Father Jack?
Father Jack, and it drink. That's what it was like. My hand went all like,
it was shaking.
Yeah,
it wasn't even that. It was just how the whole cup moved. Like, you can't. It's like, calm down.
Oh, mate.
But yeah, no. What I was saying is, like, I know I'm not easy to live with, and I know I'm not easy to be a partner with, but my missus manages it. Just like at times she's not easy to be a partner with, but we manage each other, we complement each other. And I'm sure your missus is the same with you two. You're not easiest at times, and she's not easiest at times,
No.
but we complement each other. And I think in this day and age, it's hard to find somebody that you can be a team with.
Yeah.
But when you do find that person, it helps do things like this where you become a better person by going into recovery, by getting away from the old the old you and finding a new you in the ashes of
Yeah,
what
well,
once-
you realise that you come to the conclusion that it's not always about me, is it?
No.
Like, and that's what it took me fucking...
That's maturing though, that is.
Yeah, but it's also massively ego-based, where you think everything... like, obviously, you're you, and you're always going to think from your point of view. So if something happens, it's how it affects you, how it affects me. But then as you progress in a relationship, you'll realise that you start putting others before yourself, and that all comes into it.
But I think general human nature is to instantly think on how something affects you, because we are all out for number one straight away.
Yeah.
That's the first thought process that goes for anything. How does this affect me? I think that's normal. But what is maturing in that is not instantly thinking that, but then going straight onto the thought of how is this going to affect them? How, like you say, how is my behaviour going to affect them?
Yeah.
What if I went and got on it this weekend? How would that behaviour affect my wife? Affect my son?
Financially.
Yeah. What would it do to us financially? How would I feel on Monday? Having that foresight and knowing how you can, how you can actually affect people that matter to you in your life by the decisions you make now. That's growth.
Yeah.
That's growth.
Massively. Right, what's the time?
We got 5 minutes left,
Oh,
mate.
have we?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Wow, this has been nice.
It has been all right. I mean, I hope when I listen to this back, it ain't just been absolute waffle.
No.
I mean, there's a part of me now that is regretting bringing up the whole situation that happened last year, but that's, I think, when I listen back on it, I'll feel glad that I got it off my chest.
I'm glad that you've done that, to be fair. Honestly, be proud of yourself for doing that, because that's not an easy subject to talk about.
No, it hasn't been, man. But, do you know, but there is a part of me that just came out, and I think it felt right to do it at the time. But now, hindsight's a beautiful thing. I'm regretting it.
No, you'll be all right. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine.
But no, we will 100% have another pod out. We're gonna try and do this monthly. Are we agreed on that? Like, we had a lot happen to us. Like, I even shied away from the socials and stuff with everything. Like, so. But I'm active on it this year, and I'm going to make sure that we're doing this regularly, because I hope that we can, even if we change one person's outlook on something, then that makes all this worthwhile.
Even if we can just reach one person,
100%, one person, mate, that's it. But hopefully, as we do progress, we get better at this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You and I are not, we're not experts, and we're certainly not media trained or anything. Let's see their face.
Do you know why? Because you've said, as we progress, about 50 times. So that's how you know we're not like...
That's, you know what that is? That's filler words, mate. That's what that is. I say filler words.
As we progress.
Filler.
As we progress. But yeah, I'll get you, man. Trust me, we will get better at this as time goes on. As we progress, there will be more times.
But you know what I mean? It's one of them things, as we progress.
Yeah.
But no, it will happen, mate. It will happen. So we're going to make sure we get a decent guest on, and we continue to guest this. And occasionally we might just do one just us.
Let us know. Let us know if you enjoyed this. Or...
Yeah, a bit of feedback on it. Because of, we're it's trial and error at the moment. This is trial and error. And hopefully you and I can really put pen to paper, get some good people on, get some good insights. That's what this was all about, was not just our experiences, but people we got on their experiences. We're going to get people on from completely different backgrounds, walks of life and stuff. Different, like different people that have been there, people that have done that, people that are kind of mental health experts that have dealt with a lot of these cases. We're going to, we've got a few people in the pipeline. Also, I'm really hoping, I've got a couple of contacts, ex-army or still serving, that we can get them on further down the line. So
going to be doing a lot as well with the construction scene this year as well. Going to be talking to a lot of scaffolders, a lot of plasterers, just
that goes hand in hand.
And it I've got to say this as well. Fixed Radio are doing quite a lot at the minute as well. So we do a few bits with other organisations as well, won't we? Yeah. So this year 2025 is going to be the one, mate, and this is the first of many. So I think that's about it.
Well, we've got a minute left. So should we serenade with a little song?
Yeah, what, like, we could just do, like, a bit of interpretive dance. No words needed.
And they say that a hero save us.
Right.
Right, listen, it's been a fucking pleasure, Giz.
Yes.
We were pretty confident that this hour would be a lot of us just waffling and
Which
chatting.
it was.
Yeah, it was.
To an extent.
And I'm saying, I was confident it would be that. That's what I'm saying. So, realistically, when we listen to this back, I'm pretty sure we've got some good points on here.
Yeah.
And I hope I haven't incriminated us too much.
Yeah, this is gonna go online and we're just gonna get fucking nicked. That's what's gonna happen.
We've been clever with it.
Yeah, we have.
Clever with it.
But yeah, it's been nice, man.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Brother.
See you lot later.
Right.